After death, people find themselves in an endless line, where God decides what life they will live next. August 10, 1941, Smolensk salient. In the midst of World War II, soldiers often face not only the enemy but their own fears. War is a place where human qualities are laid bare, and each person acts according to their conscience. Gleb, a simple soldier in the Soviet army, found himself in hellish conditions. Enemies surrounded them on all sides, firing with deadly precision. Gleb was deep in a trench, practically in an ideal position, yet one of his comrades left the safety of the trench and was struck by a bullet. Witnessing the death of his fellow soldiers, Gleb did not retreat or surrender. He continued to fire at the enemy and, without hesitation, decided to help his wounded comrade. Crawling several meters across the battlefield, he tried to drag the injured man back to the trench, but progress was painfully slow. Realizing that every second counted, Gleb stood up, but when he was only a few meters from his goal, he was hit by multiple bullets in the abdomen. Collapsing to the ground, he tried to catch his breath and gather strength to rise again, but his body failed him, and he died. Moments later, Gleb opened his eyes to find himself in a completely different place. Around him was nothing but sand and a long line of people, all entirely different from one another. A man sitting nearby explained that Gleb had died but had no reason to worry. He was near the front of the line. Andrei was 87th, and Gleb was 88th. The soldier was stunned, unable to comprehend what was happening, a reaction that piqued the curiosity of the others around him. Andrei and a charming woman named Sophia quickly realized that Gleb was new, a first-time arrival. Skeptical of the strange people around him, Gleb assumed they were joking or mocking him, but reality struck quickly when he turned to look at the end of the line. Millions of deceased people stretched out before him, all hoping for a chance at reincarnation and a new life. It could be said that Gleb had arrived in paradise. Being only 88th in line, he had a very real chance of receiving a new life in the coming years. Continuing to guide the newcomer, Andrei explained that people were like stars, some old, some newly lit. Andrei had been reborn 27 times, Sophia 40, but each life had been lived with dignity and respect. In her last life, Sophia had been a princess in Austria, while Andrei had been a circus performer in France. Gleb remained suspicious, trying to understand how these people from other countries could understand him. Andrei and Sophia explained that paradise is a universal place, where everyone hears in a way that makes sense to them. Sophia heard and spoke in German, Andrei in French, yet both could perfectly understand the Soviet soldier. Hoping to prove to himself that he wasn't dreaming, Gleb asked to be struck in the face as hard as possible. Andrei warned him that such actions were pointless here but gave him a gentle slap to demonstrate his words. Sophia added that this extended not only to pain but to pleasure as well. Human emotions, feelings, and sensations simply did not apply in this place. Gleb tried once again to rationalize what was happening, suggesting that perhaps he was in a coma or under the influence of powerful painkillers, but reality was harsh and unyielding. Accepting the truth, he turned toward the front of the line and noticed a strange woman sitting on a chair. According to Andrei and Sophia, she was fate itself, deciding who would be born in the next life, if anyone earned that chance. At the moment, she was asleep, observing people from the real world. She didn't interfere with anyone's future directly, but she predetermined where and when each person would be born. Suddenly, a cry for help cut through the murmurs. Rushing toward the sound, Gleb saw a malicious man trying to steal the shoes of a disabled person who couldn't walk. The bully believed that shoes were useless for someone who couldn't stand, but Gleb defended the weak and demanded the shoes be returned. When the thug resisted, the soldier took decisive action, burying him up to his neck as a lesson. Gleb was struck not only by the cruelty of one individual but also by the indifferent reaction of everyone else. Time passed, and the line slowly began to move, but far too slowly for Gleb to claim a second life just yet. With years to spare, he played with children and grew closer to Andrei and Sophia, sharing stories about life in the Soviet Union. He taught them how to properly salute soldiers and pioneers, and warned them about harmful and destructive habits. As more people arrived, Gleb settled into the strange limbo, stuck between heaven and earth, waiting for his chance at a new life. Years later, a transporter appeared on the horizon, a driver collecting souls to return them to the living world. Soon, fate herself began handing out tickets, granting a new life to everyone in line. Gleb too was offered a chance, and he requested to be born again as a man, back in the Soviet Union. Fate reminded him that no one had the right to choose, but she made an exception in his case, considering his past deeds. He had been a soldier and died a hero, so fate granted him the opportunity to return to his homeland. Though she handed him a slip of paper with black text, the first word of which read, autism. Gleb shows the piece of paper to Andrei and the others standing ahead of him in line. They react with shock and horror, telling him he's been handed a black ticket for his next life. According to everyone ahead of him, it would be better to die quickly than to live such a life, because it promises nothing but pain and suffering. The troublemaker is thrilled, though, unlike Gleb, he's headed to Norway to live with a family of millionaires. Andrei will be reborn in Paris, and Sophia will become the daughter of American billionaires. In the bully's opinion, the only future waiting for Gleb is a life as a freak or performing in a traveling circus. Terrified about what lies ahead, Gleb decides to talk to the driver to find out what's written on his paper. The driver explains that autism isn't a disease at all. It's a neurological neurological condition that will make it harder for him to connect with people. He may struggle to make friends, and he might never have a girlfriend, because others will see him as different. Hearing this, Gleb goes back to Lady Fate to complain about his future. He's outraged that everyone else has a chance at a normal life, while he's been assigned what he sees as an affliction. Fate is angry with him. The others have waited centuries in line for a good life, while Gleb has only been here a few short years. The people in line don't support him either. They remind him that what truly matters isn't who you're born as, but how you live your life. What counts is living with dignity so that in your next turn you're back at the front of the line, not the end. Gleb insists that he wants to be useful to society, not a burden, but this only angers Fate more. If he believes people with challenges can't be valuable, she tells him, he's free to go to the back of the line and wait for what he imagines is a better, happier life. Enraged, Gleb shouts at Fate, saying he doesn't want to live as a cripple or be treated like an outcast. Fate is furious. His words insult everyone with conditions or disabilities. Even if they have struggles, they're still human beings who deserve life and the right to fulfill their potential. Seeing his true attitude, Fate and the others send him to the very back of the line, deciding he's not ready for reincarnation yet. Half crazed, Gleb does as told, while the driver gathers souls to take them to the living world. On his way back, Gleb notices a young man who can't walk. The man was disabled, but now he's learning to take his first steps and is thanking a soldier for standing up for him. He's no longer afraid to be born again and is ready for any fate, because he's learned there are always kind and understanding people in the world. Watching this, Gleb realizes what a fool he's been. Life is the greatest gift, and no one has the right to throw away such a chance. Regretting his outburst, he runs back to the truck, choosing to be reborn as a boy with autism. Soon, Gleb was born with autism. His life became a harsh test, school refused to accommodate him, and other children mocked him relentlessly. Girls avoided him, and his neurological condition made him even more withdrawn. Staying at home, Gleb focused on his studies and taught himself to play the harmonica. Still, the constant challenges strained his parents' relationship, and one day his father simply left. His mother, however, never gave up on him, doing everything in her power to support her son. Years passed, and Gleb grew up into the same introverted young man with autism. Despite his condition, he found a way to fulfill his potential and became a brilliant scientist. Public speaking terrifies him, but the support of loved ones gives him the strength to keep moving forward. He achieved everything most people only dream of, and autism never stopped him. Watching from above, Fate was pleased that Gleb never gave up and managed to build a meaningful life in his new existence. For context, about 1 in every 88 people in the world shows signs of autism. Dmitri Shostakovich, the great 20th century composer, Grigory Perelman, the brilliant mathematician, Kim Peek, the prodigy who inspired the film Rain Man, and Daryl Hannah, the celebrated American actress, all had autism. Yet it never stopped them from becoming great, famous, and successful. The only real barriers are the ones we create in our own minds. No question this time, just a simple request: live with honor, so you never feel ashamed of yourself or before God. Share your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.